kids have to know a certain amount, and I don't know about law enforcement, but that's part of the personal development. They got to learn how to deal with officers of the law. So just throwing this out.
Right.
I mean, you can create your own little thing, but.
Hello and welcome to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth and Daydream.
As always, family, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Our number here at the studio, should you decide to engage with us, is 713-789-0096, and we will be talking about town and country, what's going on in our town and in our country. Okay, so we've got quite a few things going on here. I don't know all of the latest in regards to the shooting of Pamela Turner. Was that her name?
Yeah, Pamela Turner,
The
murdered by
shot
mentally
5 times?
ill,
Mhm.
but a known schizophrenic. Known.
They said the officer knew her. From
That's what I'm saying.
being in
Well,
the
she
community.
had several misdemeanor charges, but they were all based on the mental illness. So, you know, the cops knew, they all knew that she had some issues. So even
But
though
that's
she
still no
was
reason to
threatened
shoot her 5 times. That's just not a threat.
and there's no reason to say I was afraid for my life.
Well, see, that's
Hell
always their
not.
go-to.
That's not true. That's not true. Have you
Well,
dealt
wait a
with a
minute.
mentally ill person before?
Oh, they're strong. They're strong as hell. So I know what you're talking about. But didn't he tase her? Guys, I'm not a big newspaper person.
He did.
So therefore, like I said,
That's why I still will argue. I feel like he tased her. He's a man, and granted, she
She's
was
taken
taken
his
strong.
taser.
and tased him, I thought. Still, that's not enough
5
to
times.
require 5 times. She had no real weapon. I mean, she stole his because he was lax in his duties, but she didn't have a weapon.
Again, have any of y'all dealt with a mentally ill person when they're in that type of state, when they're in a crisis state?
No, but
Okay.
5
Then you
times.
cannot- then you cannot say that.
I've heard
You
about
can't
how-
you can't just say, oh no, it was completely wrong. Am I saying that he was correct? No. Am I saying that he wasn't in fear of his life? Absolutely not. I truly believe that he was.
You think so?
Yes.
Because that's a go-to line for them.
I have
just
dealt with
can't-
mentally ill. I've had knives pulled on me. I've had my life threatened.
Well, I've had.
And this is with no weapon. Okay, I wasn't allowed to have any weapons. I was there solo. I was not allowed to. So when you see that look in
And
their
that
eye,
shit,
they're not
they're
there.
Gone. They're gone.
They are not there.
I've seen- yeah.
Think about how many videos that you've seen, or even in real life, people who are high on drugs, they're out of their mind. They're not mentally stable.
They're gone.
And no matter what happens and the strength that they have with that, how many officers does it take to take them down just to restrain them and get them to calm down?
I had a personal
So you
situation
can't
like
sit there and say, oh no, he was out of line.
That I do know. I
Mm.
had a personal situation with that.
Well, I still feel like 5 bullets is too much.
And-
If they'd have popped her in her knee, one good time she'd have gone down. 5.
Yeah, I still, but at that time, I guess when you're feeling it's fight or flight, you just decide
Absolutely,
whether or not
fight or
your
flight.
life is involved. And so, in a nanosecond, you've got to make a decision. So they're trained to be aggressive.
Yeah.
The minute you
yeah,
show any
trained to be
signs, the
aggressive.
minute you show any signs of being aggressive, they go higher than that.
Now, my issue that I have with what happened was, like you said, known mental illness. The police have dealt with her several times before, and they were all mental health issues. Granted, it's very small, but there is a crisis response unit. They are trained officers to deal with mental health
Oh, you gotta have a
patients.
straitjacket for these people.
It's
to get
but
them.
it's such a
Seriously.
small unit because why? There's no funding.
There's no money for it.
Okay,
Right.
there's no
We've done
funding,
that,
and
so,
and
yeah.
it's specialized training. Not just any and everyone can deal with mentally challenged or mentally ill people or just mentally unstable people in general. We think about all the people we deal with in normal life. How many people are actually mentally unstable and how we feel dealing with that. Imagine having to deal with that on an
Times
ongoing
10.
yes, on an
Times 10.
ongoing basis and in a life or death situation, fight or flight. So my issue that I have is why was there not a specialized team responding to her? If they knew that that's how she was, why was it a single officer responding
Dealing
to
with
her?
that.
There should have been at
And
least
who
2
damn
officers.
videoed it? Was that on his?
That was a neighbor, I think. My
They're so
understanding.
busy taking pictures of things rather than dealing
And
with-
especially you're the
She
neighbor.
could've called.
Absolutely.
You're there with the damn phone, but instead you're caught up and mesmerized.
And wanting to make sure you
Well,
get to go viral. See, and the
See,
other thing
that's
is
sad about social media.
right. The other thing is, if you're the neighbor, you know what type of issues is going on. You're there every time almost every time that the police are called. Why weren't you willing to help the officer get that person to calm down? You know, sometimes it takes a familiar face, someone in the background just saying, "Hey, so and so, Tammy, calm down. It's okay. Hey, it's neighbor so and so." Sometimes that's all it needs. That's all people need.
They don't want to get involved.
Only to a certain degree.
Well,
though,
you know,
to take the video.
the only time we engage with each other, you know, again, the video allows everybody to get highlights and viral videos and all that. But the only time we really deal with each other is if there's a crisis. It has to be a hurricane, a tornado, or something serious.
And even then, it's to get kudos
serious.
and to get
That's
notoriety
right,
from it. Oh, I did this to help my neighbor. If you truly did that out of the goodness of your heart, you were sincere.
Doing it more often.
Not only would you be doing it more often, but you wouldn't need to announce it.
Absolutely.
You would need to take pictures of it on social media. Say, hey, look at me. Look how good of a person I am. I did this. I did that. You just do it. You don't boast about it.
Right.
Yeah, like I say, you don't have to pray loud in the synagogue to be heard, you know.
Right,
it should be private.
Yeah.
God knows what's in your heart, people.
Absolutely. It's the same about fasting, which I am doing. And, you're not supposed to look worn in the face or down.
Right, you're supposed to get up,
fasting.
clean up, and be about your day, and
get on back out there, you know.
Get right back out there.
But this is a sad situation. I don't know. Has her family stepped forward? I'm sure they have. Or does she have any family?
I believe that's who.
There was a picture of it looked like her and then maybe a mom or something like that.
Then she kept saying she was pregnant. I
Graduation
heard
or
that too.
something.
She was saying she was pregnant.
I honestly have not kept up with the story.
I haven't either.
So I don't have any idea. Anyone who's out there, 713-789-0096. Give us a call here at the studio. Shoot us a text at 833-664-OMGNU. That's 833-664-2638. Thank you everyone so far who's followed along on Facebook. Hello everyone out there. Mohawk Black, my mom, avid listener and watcher. Thank you everyone for checking in. But if y'all have any information or, a little bit more specific details about that particular story, by all means, please hit us up. Let us know in the comments. We want to make sure that we're getting the information correctly.
And disseminating
right,
that.
and not contributing to the misinformation.
And Mohawk, you're gonna have to come in here one day. That's one of my friends.
Absolutely, rotating chairs always
we
open.
We have a chair right here waiting for you.
Yes, waiting for
your
you.
friend
Joe Lacey. He needs to come in also.
Renee,
we're gonna call all of y'all out. Yeah, Renee, where have you been?
Yes. And also we have what's our other guy? Corey.
Yes, of course. Yeah, he did exercise the chair recently.
That's it for everyone right now who's checked in. But like I said, I haven't followed along on the story, so I don't know all.
Yeah, it's still unfolding. The situation, so it's just kind of sad. I just hate it when people, especially someone who's vulnerable like that. They're mentally ill, and you don't know everything that's going on with
Has
the
anybody
person.
followed her body, followed where the trail? Because where this goes sometimes.
Absolutely. I guess that would be the other question.
That would be my question. I mean, because now you're having issues with morticians and coroners.
Yeah, because that body's evidence.
Yeah. Right. So do I have to go to break now? Okay, I think, guys, we have to go to break, and then we shall be right back.
You're listening to the Bridge of Light Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
I'll do the read for Sam Houston Race Park.
Can you see this straight? Is it straight? Because it doesn't look straight.
Oh, I forgot it's on a lag.
It's supposed to come from this way. I think you have to
It's
come
straight.
the other way.
Okay.
When we come back in, we can do today's show has been brought to you by Image, and do that one real quick, and then I'll come in with this segment has been brought to you by.
Okay, so you all have that.
The show, yeah, you'll go, and then I'll just come in right after.
paper.
Not on me. You have one? Maybe if you stand up.
Oh,
It's worse. I know I don't have anything.
And since we're on break and you are watching, this is my drink that I'm drinking while fasting. This is the lemonade, cayenne pepper, and dark amber maple syrup. I've been doing this for about 4 days.
30 seconds.
I'm drinking
Just so
water,
you know.
people. Water and my ketones.
15 seconds.
You gonna who's on?
Silky's going first.
You going first? Yes. You sure?
Today's show is brought to you by Image. I make a great employee, executive, entrepreneur, professional etiquette training seminars where life skills meet social graces. For more information, contact www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizzimage.com for more information.
And this segment has been brought to you by Sam Houston Race Park. Come out this weekend for the conclusion of the 2019 live quarter horse racing season at Sam Houston Race Park with 50-cent beer on Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Wiener dog races are this Saturday. Post time is 7 p.m. Get a luxury suite for 10 people starting at just $2.99. Have dinner at the Winter Circle restaurant for just $30 per person, which includes admission, buffet, tax, and gratuity. It's the best deal in town. Call 281-807-8700 or go online to shrp.com for more information.
And we are back. You're listening to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about. I am the host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth
And Daydream.
Okay, and we are actually talking about things that are happening in our town right now and moving progressively towards what's happening in the country. We were talking about Pamela Turner, which is a very sad situation. Is there anybody who actually follows the news? See, I don't follow it because it's too depressing. It makes you live in fear, and it's just progressively grueling. I mean, the more you hear about it,
it's always something
yeah,
horrible and
I
sad.
can't deal with it. So maybe.
But at the same time, I gotta listen because I'm like, I gotta know, and then at the same
Right.
time, I don't want to know, but I've gotta know.
There's just a lot going on.
There is.
There's a lot going on. So there's just some things that, I mean, I just have to pick and choose. Okay, what's going on over here? Let me pay attention to that. Because of all the things going on with, you know, especially with Trump, there's always something going on with him.
He's such
But
a-
everything's so smoke and mirrors that
There's
I'm
so much
seeing.
going on that's being planned, that's being signed off executive orders and everything else that we have not a clue about.
Right. So I'm trying to pay more attention to what's going on in world news, to
Because it's
decipher
all
what's
connected.
really the issue. You know,
Yeah.
to see what his next play is really.
Whatever it is, it's going to be somewhat ignorant because he just doesn't carry himself well. You know?
No,
So we've got like
never does.
to go on and dealing with him. But you know, again, I brought up the conversation earlier, and we've said this on the show before, that if you don't read the newspapers, then you are uninformed. If you do read the newspapers, then you are misinformed. What is the better of the two?
Well,
Both.
both.
You know, it's both. We need to be able to decipher.
How do you do that? Everything's fake. Everything's
Well,
orchestrated.
we have to start thinking.
Choreographed,
You know, start thinking
staged.
for ourselves. And that's the problem, you know, that we've allowed ourselves to let someone else or something,
Controller.
you know, control us and think for us and say, okay, what's this? Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. No, we've stopped questioning things.
Yeah, that's the big thing. We don't ask why. We don't ask that question.
Right.
A child would have had continuous why. And then you answer that, well,
yes.
why?
Why?
You know, and so we lose
Oh,
that. as we-
why?
as we-
Right.
You know, so
Speaking of a child, our little princess, Miss Maleah.
yeah.
That's a very sad story.
another
Now, that
sad-
story
Now,
I
I
have
didn't read
been
all
following.
of that either. What is that? I heard different stories about the mom being involved, the stepdad having his children.
Okay.
Nobody bothered his child. They took this one, and
Right. So for those who maybe are not aware or misinformed, what happened was this stepfather claims that he was assaulted and knocked unconscious and lost 24 hours of time.
convenient.
And exactly what I said as soon as the story hit.
Convenient, yeah.
And he was on his way, I want to say it was a Thursday. He left. He claims that he left with his 1.5-year-old son and his 4-year-old stepdaughter, Maleah, from the southwest side of town, more of the Sugar Land area. and stopped at 59 and Greens Road on his way to Intercontinental Airport to pick up Maleah's mother. He stopped on the side of the road because he thought something was wrong with the tire, that he had a blowout.
You would know, wouldn't you?
Anyway, I'll admit, I'm one I've driven on a low tire, not realized it wasn't a blowout.
But you can tell a blowout.
Yeah, because it explodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, you know something's wrong with the tire. But he says he pulled over to see what was going on. That 3 Hispanic men pulled over in a Chevy. How stereotypical. And that they were trying to help him, but that they commented on what a pretty girl Maleah was and how well behaved she was. And then he felt something hit his head, and next thing he knows, he wakes up 24 hours later back in the southwest side of town.
Oh, he was transported from there to
somewhere else.
Yes, somehow.
Okay.
During those 24 hours, during those 24 hours, he has no recollection of what happened. Okay. He just knows that it was 24 hours later, and he woke up on that side of town, and then I believe took himself to the hospital.
Didn't he have other kids in the car?
His son, exactly, his 1.5-year-old son. No one said where he was at during that time. Just that, oh yeah, his son was fine. Come to find out, yes, 24 hours later. So as the story has continued, the police were, we really didn't hear from the mom too much. Okay. Number 2, he would not go in for questioning. The police said they had additional questions to try to figure out what was going on, this and that. But that his story changed.
Anything?
I have no idea.
Wasn't knocked out for 24 hours.
I haven't heard anything else about his 1.5-year-old son because
and a 1.5-year-old, you can't ask them anything.
But they can.
How old the child?
They're still in diapers, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on how articulate they are.
Yeah, well,
they may very well have been able to say something. Daddy hurt sister. Maleah's got boo boo something.
They can, I don't know. That's just the
right.
That's too
so,
convenient.
The police said that he, wouldn't go in. He would not go in to meet with them for additional questioning.
They didn't require?
At that time, he was not a suspect. They were still just trying to figure some things out. Okay. Mm-hmm. The other thing was a neighbor's doorbell camera, okay, or a camera of the neighbors of the apartment complex they lived in, caught video of Maleah on, I want to say it was like May 3rd or May 2nd, around that time, but this was before the day that he claims he was assaulted and Maleah was taken. Prior to that day, that Maleah, the stepfather, and Maleah and the 1.5-year-old son were seen walking into the apartment. After that is the last time Maleah is ever seen. You see the stepfather come back out at some point with the 1.5-year-old son. You also see him come walking out with a laundry basket filled with a black trash bag. You also see him outside.
Suspect, right?
You also see him outside with a big jug of bleach.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's a clear indication.
They found the vehicle in that same parking lot, in that same area that he claims that he had finally woke up out of consciousness. Yeah. That car was immediately, I guess, like quarantined, taken in for evidence. And there was DNA evidence of Maleah being in that vehicle. They have not charged him with murder because they don't have a body yet.
So they still have not found a body.
They still have not found a body yet. So you can't charge anyone with murder if there is no body.
I just
also
feel like...
there's more. There's more.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. To find out, the injuries that he claims he's sustained happened days before it actually did.
So he's getting caught in all his lives.
Yeah, he had scabs on his forehead. When they initially showed him, it was already scabbed up. But he's claiming, well, it was 24 hours later.
Scabs don't come that quickly. Not when I was a child. I don't recall.
Not within 24 hours. Not to that extent.
That fast, right?
Yeah. So, his dad also, I think it was this morning or yesterday, I saw that his dad went on YouTube. The stepfather's dad went on YouTube to claim his son's innocence. He wouldn't hurt anybody. He loves children. This and this and this and that.
Whatever.
My issue is the mother claims that she had called it off with the stepfather, that he was now her ex-fiance the day that she left for the trip. So why would you still leave your child? Okay.
With someone that's not.
Prior to that,
This is-
there was a CPS case that was opened, but then since closed due to suspected abuse of Maleah. And
Open
she
and
also
then closed.
it was open then closed. There was nothing they could find. The child had to be returned. There
And
was
now she's gone. This sounds almost like the Jussie Smollett thing that's just going to get.
Well,
Dismissed.
it's also been said that
No.
the stepmother claimed that, the reason she called it off with the stepfather, or part of the reason, was because she couldn't trust him. She felt he was a danger.
But yet you have.
Dangerous, but you left your child with
Right.
him.
See,
Okay.
this is-
And my thing is, if I'm a mother who's supposed to be picked up at the airport and you missed your time, I'm calling somebody.
Oh, I'm
I'm
looking
blowing
for you.
people's
Yeah, I'm
phone
looking
up.
for
I'm
you.
doing
I'm
this.
at the
I'm doing
airport.
that.
I'm
I
calling the
haven't heard
airport.
from someone.
Right.
Someone. No one heard anything from the mother until after he made his statements, his claim.
So that whole 24 hours, she's at the airport waiting for someone to pick her
And not
up who
even
does not
angry or
show up.
aggressive.
They don't
Angry or
say-
anything.
That's
They don't say that.
They don't say what her condition, what her state was. From the get-go, once they announced the story, when it first came out, I was like, oh no, that he did it.
Everybody said
He
that.
did something
And
to
then
her
everybody
immediately.
later added on that the mother had something to do with it as well, because, again, if you're
Well,
not with a guy, why would you, and you don't trust him, why would you leave your most precious possession, which is your child,
Right,
with him?
right. And,
Yeah.
she's
And
done.
why is he picking you up for the airport? Why didn't she just get Uber or leave the child with someone else or
Or family
make
members.
other arrangements?
And
But
her
he-
father.
Yeah,
Maleah's father.
Number one, that would have
Yeah,
been a
that
bad
might have been an
choice.
idea. That
You know,
yeah.
because as far as I know, there wasn't a CPS case at any point against the biological father.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and you see the mother with interviews. Granted, I know everyone grieves differently. We show emotion differently. But I felt that she was just very distant. You have no idea where your child is at.
And you're calm?
And
Unless she was just in some state of shock or something. I don't.
No.
Like you said, everybody grieves or differently.
I guess, but when you hold an interview and you're consistently looking up in a corner somewhere and you're not going to hold eye contact, no,
That
ma'am.
makes you look suspicious.
The mother's just as guilty. If you felt that he was some sort of danger, or
Should've
better
been
yet,
right.
if there was a CPS case because at some point someone thought that your significant other
That's a good enough
harmed your
reason.
child,
Yeah, that's a good enough reason not to just hand her over to someone while
Right.
you leave town.
oh well, they didn't
Right.
find anything. They gave her back, and
Goes
so
to
what?
show these parents there's
If that child had been,
of a different persuasion. Mm-hmm.
that guy would be under the jail.
Plus, they haven't found him or
Under the jail.
claimed
Well,
anything.
there's no body.
They would
That's
have found
the
a
thing.
way to put him under the
also
jail
now,
had she been
again,
different.
understand I'm not following this, but if I recall correctly, you said that they walked into the apartment building, Maleah,
The
little
stepfather
boy,
and the little boy.
boy, but they come out without her. Yet you have a bag, like you're washing
A
clothes,
black trash
a black
bag.
trash bag, like you're washing clothes, and you got a thing of bleach.
Now the bleach was at a separate point,
Okay, but
so
yeah,
it
what
was
is
a laundry basket filled with a black trash bag.
Okay, but if you're going washing, you gather all your little things.
Mm-hmm.
I would
And
think.
then there's another snippet of him with just a jug of bleach and the stepson. I mean, and then his 1.5-year-old son.
So his son is fine.
Yeah,
The toddler.
That's sad. That's sad.
absolutely. So
So I guess we'll have to continue to follow that story. I
Right.
hate stuff like this. I don't
it's
usually
absolutely
follow this
terrible. And
guy's
then there was
memory.
yesterday, it made national news. There's again, those cameras. They're wonderful, but when they're used like this, they're wonderful. In I forget which state it was, there was a doorbell camera that caught a mother, caught a kidnapper taking an 8-year-old girl from the mother as they're walking down the street together in broad daylight. And you can see where the car drives by and something's going on, and the mother's
I
screaming,
think
yelling.
I saw excerpts
Yes,
of that
and
on-
she gets pushed out, and you see her get up from the street, running, screaming, yelling, help me, my daughter's been kidnapped, someone help me. And there's a neighbor who'd come out, the neighbor who the camera belonged to, you see him walk out of the house to see what all the
What
commotion
happened.
is about. Now that one,
That's pretty bold,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely, Fortunately, that has a very happy ending. The girl was found within 8 hours. The mother, when she was struggling with the kidnapper, she pulled off a necklace and also had some DNA evidence under her fingernails.
Yeah.
So they were able to, I guess, help with that. They had the car in the camera.
Now, that's
you
how a
know,
mother
perfect
acts about her
description.
child, not
Yeah.
this other mother with this
Right.
Maleah.
Right. And so they were able to find her. I mean, they immediately, people were looking around, and I think a family friend is the one who spotted the vehicle and called it in and was there and called the father to say, hey, they got her, they found her. You know, so
that's a rarity.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that camera helped out a lot. I mean, because it was a clear camera. You can see the vehicle very clearly, the color.
Because usually it's fuzzy, the
I told
color's
you,
off,
they
it's
caught-
broken, it's
Right.
facing
They caught
another
me.
direction.
I'm
It's
telling
always
you.
something about these cameras
Right.
that are not quite right.
Well,
we need-
they'll catch you.
Right,
They'll
for
tell
any
what color
little thing.
eyeshadow you have on. I mean, it's that close.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
But yet, if somebody robs an ATM,
Who
you
knows?
can't
It's
see.
facing
The
another
video's
direction,
flashing. We
yeah.
don't know what.
We need the Home Depot cameras. Have y'all seen that video?
Mm-mm.
They there was somebody was caught shoplifting from Home Depot, but that camera was clear as day. Like we're looking at ourselves on these monitors right now. I mean, perfect clear. Everyone made a joke about it. Talking about now, Home Depot is on it. They have spared no expense to make
Well,
sure
we
they
can
keep this down to a
identify
minimum.
you.
But let somebody
They
get
can do
kidnapped or a liquor store get
They can't
robbed.
A jewelry heist.
A jewelry heist.
But
You,
they can
you see
probably
nothing
do
but
facial
fuzz.
recognition. Yeah, right.
Complete
See, now they're
distortion.
doing all this stuff with your eyes and
The facial
the
recognition.
facial recognition. So, you know, I guess they can always find out who's
Speaking
doing
of
what.
facial recognition, remember last week you were talking about the facial recognition?
Yes.
I get home and Facebook reminds me that I need to update my profile shot so people will know what I look like, and I said, "Oh,
It's
no."
a trap.
Then I can hear the music. I can hear daydreams like,
It's a
"They
trap.
said-" And I was like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo." I said, "Oh no, they want to know what I look like. Let me go find an older picture and put that." But I thought about that,
They
and then
did
I'm
that
getting
to
all these
Winifred when
updates,
she was
and then
in
again
custody.
having to answer on a recorded line. I said, correct, yeah, that's right. I didn't say the yes. And now she's got me all suspicious. But as
Good.
soon as
You
I
did.
got home,
Good.
she's got me all
That's
suspicious. But I get a
Yay,
tag.
I've done my
you,
job.
You did.
That's it.
You need to update your picture. Your friends need to know what you look like. I'm like, my friends know what I look like. They don't.
Well, they've already done that little thing with, you know, when
Yeah.
they brought up
Compare.
the 10-year comparison, who you were 10 years
Right,
ago. to
right,
now.
right.
They're
So
all-
Did
They've
you
already got
did you do
stuff.
you did the 10-year challenge?
I
didn't you,
didn't. I
Sylvia?
don't pay attention to that. I'm too,
Nuh-uh. They just sound too confident. No,
did
please
you do
don't.
it? So you're the one that will do DNA too. Have you done that?
no, I
You
haven't.
look like guilty like you have.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done DNA, and I have not done
She
DNA,
doesn't
and
look
I
like
did not, and I
guilty,
did
but
not.
I'm sorry, I did it, but-
No, what is the 10-year challenge? What do you have to do?
It was a few
Facial
months back,
recognition
but
so they can
Facebook.
project
Yeah.
how you will look to
Look
you.
how
Oh,
see
I'll
how you
never do
changed.
that.
I've
No, I don't
changed
wanna
within
know.
the last 10 years. I know what my weight looked like.
I already know.
And you know, again, but
Okay,
what we did
geez.
realize is that after you, and I think Winifred told us that when she was there, that after someone was there getting their face restructured and rebuilt and all that they were not identifiable through facial recognition.
Oh yeah, plastic surgery and all that.
Mhm.
All kinds of questions. I believe it.
Yeah. And you know, they go out of the country all the time
Mm-hmm.
to get these types of surgeries done, and so they can quickly change the color of their eyes.
Yeah, Brazil
Yeah,
is
just
is
do a
the
whole-
number is
what-
the plastic surgery capital of the
Next
world.
More than
week.
Venezuela. Well, Venezuela probably not now.
Well,
but
Brazil's
it used to-
Venezuela.
But yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
next week we're going to have one of our old friends on, Bridget. Bridget has a business called Body by Dominique.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry.
I'm willing to do
Body
it.
by
by
Dominican.
Dominican.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Body by Dominican. So she will talk about Somo, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do it though.
Cool sculpting.
I'm willing to
I'm
get
not
the
willing
whole.
to
I
do
want to
any
get.
of that.
I am willing to get the whole
Well,
thing.
cool sculpting. Oh, it's just a little thing, a little machine or something put on you, and it basically
And
like
it
freezes
it,
off.
But does that work? And so you just drink a lot of water and expel all this extra fat that they sucked
My
out
thing
of
is
life.
number one, drink a lot of water to begin with.
Who does
you'll
that?
Get rid of all the.
Yeah, I do.
you
I
know,
drink a lot of water.
We
That would
really
be-
should be drinking at least a gallon of water a day, people.
Really? Yeah. When I was
Especially in this Texas humidity.
when I
This has been
trained,
ridiculous.
yeah, when I trained for the 2 muscle shows I did, I had to drink a gallon of water a day. But I'm still kind of on that. I like to drink it now. I got
I'm
myself
starting
in a
to.
habit of doing
I
it.
do my drink faster than that. But anyway, back to what's going on in our town. I think we were talking about the possibility of what the ramifications of Alabama
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
The
I
Handmaid's
know.
Tale.
Yeah.
It's sad. So Alabama is
We like
recent.
illusions of freedom, illusion of justice.
Alabama, Georgia, and Missouri.
And Mississippi's in there too now.
Is it?
Mississippi's joining bans abortion after 6 weeks.
Well, I recently found out that Texas has a bill that they were trying to pass to.
Not try. This is what they do to us. That's what I said. He will have done some things behind the back
Right.
that he will pass and that are signed off as
Yeah,
executive
because-
orders.
Because there was, I forget what other nonsense has been going on with, Trump
Him
Trump
acting
news.
ignorant with Iran and all that.
Yes, so that was going on, and then you hear all of a sudden Alabama passed this, and oh yeah, by the way,
See, all
Georgia
of
and
it-
Missouri
all
have
of
already
this-
done
All
this.
of this stuff
And
is
oh yeah, and here's
covert.
Texas. Absolutely,
It's under the
it's all
table.
smoke and
And
mirrors,
then all of a sudden
people.
it
It's
comes up.
distractions.
That's exactly right. So this may very well affect Texas at some point.
Very soon, not at some point. That's what people are not understanding. Very, very soon. Like this is currently in the House. Okay, they're asking for the death penalty for women who have abortions.
And
Are
I
you
saw
kidding me?
there were protesters
Wait a minute,
out.
wait a minute. You want to offer the death penalty for someone who has the right to make the decision as to how they want to pursue or even invest in the progression of a pregnancy. That should not be, the state shouldn't even be involved in that.
Right.
And
That's a personal call.
Right. And a
Especially
lot
if
of
you've been raped. And in Mississippi, they said that if you have not gotten an abortion after 6 weeks, then you can't have one. So whether it's a
No
rape,
matter
victim,
the
whether it's
situation.
rape,
how many
no,
women
I
found
mean,
out
it's a
before
bunch
6
of men.
weeks?
It's a bunch of men.
Well, my
that
thing
had-
is, how many women found
No,
out
before
before
six-
they were 6
six
The
weeks
ones that are
pregnant that they
impregnated
were
the women,
pregnant?
but they're exonerated once
Right.
again.
Why
Once
aren't the
again,
men
who
being
gets harmed?
penalized?
That's what I'm saying. They're consistently exonerated, and we are marginalized even more. Pro-life is not really pro-life.
No.
And none of it is. I tell you, it's all an illusion.
It's anti-women.
It's all an illusion, guys. We seem to want to think that we're free.
Right,
It's
because
not
it
pro-life.
takes two. That woman could not have gotten pregnant without that man. That
Right.
man knew when he was about to ejaculate. He knew,
Yeah. He knew.
and he made
You
the
know.
choice not to. So why isn't he being held responsible? Well, you failed to, use proper birth control. That the women are being penalized because we didn't use the proper birth control. Well, what about men? They're not being penalized at all. They're not being
No.
held accountable at all.
Nope.
Okay, then how about every time a man masturbates, he's not being charged for child abandonment, child neglect?
Okay.
These are all these.
Possibility of
Seriously, and that was brought up.
future children.
There was someone in some government position, I forget where, but we had posted it. This was, I want to say last year that we did that and that's the argument that she brought about. If that's the case, then why aren't men being held accountable? She was, then this is a bill that we need to pass. They need to be, charged with child abandonment.
The death.
Child
I
neglect.
can't even get over
The
that.
death
That's such
penalty.
the irony of that.
Yeah, so that's
But
definitely
you
not
know,
pro-life,
again, but you
people.
do know
If you're seeking the death penalty as
that's what I just
as
said,
a
the irony.
consequence.
The irony of that is this.
And a lot of
Yeah, the
representatives
irony.
brought
So
that
you
up.
killed the child, so we're
Now we're gonna kill you.
Mhm.
And the father is free to go make
He's
other
just-
children, and we can kill those
Mhm.
what's too.
Right.
Well, Martha Sanger, who started Planned Parenthood years ago, that was the premise of her starting that organization.
Right.
Because she felt like the most merciful thing that a family does to one of its infant members is to kill it. This is the premise under which
Right.
Planned Parenthood was started.
Right.
So they felt like black people were not capable of having children that were, intellectually astute or, just well bred, educated, the whole
Right.
thing. They
Because
thought
of
you were
all
all
these
dumb.
myths and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she basically felt that black people should not have the ability to procreate. That they needed to just be wiped out. So it's
Right.
almost like a Hitler thing. It's not much difference.
Right.
And so I mentioned to you guys, I think a couple of weeks back, there's a movie called Unplanned that came out in March. It was a lady who had actually gotten promoted through the Planned Parenthood organization. And actually, she ran an abortion clinic. That was her reward for having made it to that level. And when she really got to see what they were doing, she did a movie about it. So it's something that they say it's very touching.
Right.
And so we don't know what they do in the back there, but I do know they do take these embryos and take them somewhere because there was an 18-wheeler
That was overturned.
and
And it was filled with
that
nothing
had
but fetuses.
17,000 fetuses in it. So something's happening, people. This
Yeah.
isn't
They
just
are doing something.
something's happening.
Right. And that's such a shame because granted Planned Parenthood may have come about in such a negative and ugly way.
Yeah.
But they really
They
have
evolved.
done a lot of good. You know,
think
they
I think
provide.
See, first of all, they do they
I
do
think they have.
vasectomies. Men, they do vasectomies.
What's birth control?
They
It's
do
Planned
STD
Parenthood.
training. They treatment,
Education.
That was
education, treatment
That was
for
later.
STDs.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
but that's
black
what I'm
woman who
saying.
used
It
to
started out wrong,
Well, see,
but it evolved.
what man does for evil, God does for good. But
So it does
still,
much
this is
more.
something That's
And then it also serves as a healthcare facility for people that do not have insurance or may not have
Underinsured.
or are underinsured. So it
abortion
does
is
a
not-
lot of
It's not
good.
birth control. It's not a form of birth.
Well, no, but that's not all that they push.
That's
I mean,
not all
I
that
know.
they do.
You know,
yeah.
when you walk, number one, not every Planned Parenthood clinic is an abortion clinic. It's
Oh,
not.
really?
It's
No.
not. It is
So
not.
what is this, sex education?
Well, some clinics are just for wellness
healthcare.
checks, women,
Okay.
healthcare, education.
Yeah.
For the most part, they give you free birth control. People.
Okay, well that's good. They did.
But
They
it's
give you- I
men,
mean,
and men can get served there. Men get medical services there.
Right.
They
I
get
mean-
checkups. They check your blood pressure. They check your blood, your weight. They do the whole thing. It's not just
for women.
Right.
Well,
No.
it says Planned Parenthood. That doesn't necessarily mean women.
right. That's Planned
Planned
Parenthood.
Parenthood.
You know that's what it is. And I get so aggravated when people say it's an abortion clinic.
I just assumed that they were.
But
not
yet
every
you'll
single
go and burn
one.
a cross on somebody's lawn.
So
And or say something stupid like, "We'll give the baby up and in 20 years have a reunion."
that's the most ridiculous
Give the baby
thing
up
I've
for
ever heard
adoption
in
and
my
then
life.
meet in 20 years and have a reunion.
People
in
have
slow
no
motion.
idea how overworked the foster care system is and how
Oh, wow, I've
dangerous
heard.
the foster care
It's
system
not
is.
real. It's not an option, in my
I need to
opinion.
bring somebody in. I have one of the realtors that I work with that works
It's not an
on
option in my
foster
opinion.
care.
Yes, thank you, Mark Wisnowski. He says they also do cancer screenings for women. Absolutely,
Awesome.
Planned
Okay.
Parenthood. Yeah,
Okay.
think about it. Our Well Women exam, they screen us for all of that. So
Right.
I don't know.
And
that
then, like
I've
I
read
said,
that.
men can get checkups also. That I
that
didn't
needs
realize.
to come out even more
I
because I'm just
learned-
assuming.
And then
No,
they do
never assume.
they do vasectomies for men who want to be responsible. If you're out there and you're a man and you want to be responsible, you know you don't want a family, don't bring them here. Conduct yourself in that way. Get a vasectomy. It is safe. Get it done. Okay? How about
Okay, I
that?
guess you just called that one out, huh?
How about that? Well, you don't mind telling us to do stuff.
That's true.
You do
Right.
something.
I
You're
mean,
the one who
It's
wants to
not
have
all
sex
on
all
us.
the
Again,
time. You
it's
do it.
Planned Parenthood.
right, but think about the ignorance, the level of ignorance, because you have these politicians, these educated people, all the different statements that they've made, and people that that they've been quoted saying, when a woman's being raped, her body has a way of shutting that down. You know,
Oh my God.
or
I
when
think
women,
that's stupid
why do
statement.
women have to bleed? Why can't they just hold it in? We don't always have time for that.
Yeah, because you want to have sex as much as you want and enjoy yourself at our expense.
They need to go to Planned Parenthood for sex education.
Right.
Is
Well,
what we're talking about.
They're the ones who passed Viagra to be, covered under health insurance.
But you can't get an
Wait.
abortion or medical services under health
And
insurance.
more and more insurance is stopping is stopping the coverage of birth control for women. So now you're having to pay more out of pocket in
it's
order for
expensive.
that.
Birth control is not. It's
No,
not cheap.
it's
I
not.
would imagine.
It's
No, it's
Yeah.
not. But they're making that the price of that particular medicine.
Are you all paying attention to the cycle here, this little path we're being guided down?
We are. People are you.
Yeah.
So it's
You-
not
you're being guided
anti-abortion;
down
it's
this road.
anti-women.
Take us to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We gotta go to break.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Bridge of Light Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
Okay. I'm a fan.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you are.
She's smiling about
I got a question.
Okay.
Because most of the debate all the time is, the dude doesn't want, or
You don't
like,
want to say that for air on air?
Oh,
We sure would like
this
that.
is for our
But-
Facebook
Go ahead,
fans.
sister.
I
You
know
know,
why I was just asking y'all, because so most of the time the situation is, the woman's left with the baby and she, gotta take care of herself. What if the man actually wants the kid, but the woman doesn't want the kid, but he actually wants to take care of it, and he's like, I'm willing to, financially pay for everything for
Right.
this baby, and
He
everything.
is
And there
He
are
actually
men
wants to
like that.
take care of it. What goes on in that situation?
He
Because I know
basically
the
has
situation
rights.
is usually it's her body, she can do what she
Right.
wants. But
My
yeah.
thing, I really feel that women outweigh that.
Mhm.
We hold more on that because it's
We gotta count
our
it.
body that goes through the change. It's
But
our
the man-
mental,
yeah.
9 months of pregnancy and
our
childbirth
mental
is
health
no
goes
fun.
through change. We experience postpartum depression, chemical imbalances because there's all kinds of hormones going. So we take the brunt of it.
And
So
our
it's not
size
just,
five
okay,
kids
cool,
are
let me
seven.
have this baby and then the baby's over there. If you want to take care of it, Daddy, by all means, go ahead and leave me out of it. It doesn't stop there.
She could
Our
have
body
his
continues.
family adopted.
Yeah,
Something
our
like
body
that.
continues to go through all kinds of changes, and then just physically giving birth is something completely
Childbirth
different.
is- If it,
Yeah.
now, if there was some kind of way that our bodies were
We'll
designed,
come back.
that either the man or the woman could do it, and we all do it.
Okay, we're back again. You listen to All About You show. We're talking about town and country. We've spoken briefly on the things going on in our town around us. And now we're going to talk about what's happening in our country. One of the things that I'm not privy to, please make me understand. If you make stuff make sense to me, I'm good. Make Game of Thrones make sense to me.
Okay, so
And the hype that comes with it.
right. Game of Thrones, I was not a fan to begin with. I did not read the books. The books came out years and years ago. So when they finally developed a series based on the books, that's where a lot of the immediate fandom came from. Okay, because those people had read the books that went with it. I became a fan, I want to say it was because of an episode that I happened to catch channel surfing, and I want to say it was season 5. They were already in season 5. And this was actually, it turns out the episode that I caught was in the later half of season 5. So that's what got me interested, because I didn't understand, okay, what's the big hoopla about, and after the fact, I found out, there's books.
It's
And
like
so
Harry
that
Potter.
really-
It's like Harry Potter.
Right, so that really made me question
I
these
didn't get that
people
either.
who just,
I like
oh my
that.
gosh, what's gonna happen? Well, if it's based on the book,
You already know.
You
what's
already know what
happening.
happened,
The book is
so
usually
why-
better than a movie.
absolutely.
Usually.
Now I get why this last season, I get the season that just ended, which was season 8. I get why people were just so excited about it, because the show went beyond the book. So they had no idea what would happen. But if you read the book, then why are you so amped up about what's going on?
Well,
Okay.
maybe they want to see
So-
it, I guess.
You know, I'm assuming that
Read
the
it, now you want to see it. You want it solidified.
Is this all the
When you
rel-
read it, that's because they don't want to think for themselves. When you read what's going on, you're thinking, you're
Yeah,
picturing, you're in it,
yeah.
you're in the
You are
story
in
with
it.
the characters, you're going through it.
Because
with
when I
them.
read, I'm in the story. I'm
Absolutely.
fighting,
That's
I'm arguing,
why I don't,
I'm in
that's
the...
why I don't like audio. You can't read it to me.
Yeah,
I have to absorb it myself,
Right.
internalize it, and then think about it and regurgitate it to something.
Right. So now, as far
Well,
as
speaking of
those
audio,
people who need
Huh?
therapy because the show ended, are you serious?
Oh, you get all out of here with that.
That's
So, Adrian,
ridiculous.
Do you need therapy?
Are you
Hell
good? You
no.
sure? You
Wait,
good?
listen,
I'm
I know some
good.
people that will help. You know, they...
I'm
Well,
okay.
you know, I can't figure. Okay, this is all
I am-
this is all
no.
medieval, right?
Oh, God.
There was a realtor that I worked with, and he was a lawyer and a realtor. But at any rate, every Saturday or every other Saturday, he would meet out in this park
Okay.
with all these guys, all professional men,
Uh-huh.
and the stockbrokers and all this other stuff. And they wear these. He brought in to show me this 20-pound metal helmet that they wear, because out in the park they do this medieval
Medieval
thing.
times.
Yeah. And so much so until on my way to work the other day, they are opening up on 45 going to Conroe.
They're playing
An
pretend. These are grown men
an
playing
axe
pretend.
throwing location.
I know.
Why
I
do
passed
we
by
need?
it.
I do too. An axe throwing place. So this is supposed to be the new trend. And
That's
this is all.
men swinging their things around. They need to feel like men. That's what that is.
I don't know what that is.
So
but
there's
axe
the
throwing.
phallic
See,
symbol
that's,
there.
That's scary to me. You know, the fact that this whole thing is coming out with, encouraging medieval. Hell, it's evil.
Now I
Period.
gotta watch it. I've never watched one.
I've never watched it either.
I don't...
But I'm thinking about
That's
axe
not
throwing. Who? Okay, that sounds like Jason or something. I don't know what all that is. But
It's just
he's got a.
well, think
he's
about it,
got
because
a
it's heavy
sword, right?
iron. It takes a strong. When you think
Yeah, you
about,
have to have a
it's
good
like
arm.
people back
Okay,
way
well,
back.
knife throwing, dart throwing, all that's great.
But that's not a
axe-
heavy piece of
I
steel
know,
or
but
iron.
what would you plan to do with that unless you just plan to just go down the street and just?
So,
To me, that
again,
means something, because I'm going back to the biblical situation in Revelation that basically speaks of a time
Mhm.
when they would be slaughtering in the streets.
Mhm.
That seems like a slaughtering
yeah, think
tool to me.
with the
I mean, it's
Walking
kind of like walking
Dead.
down the street with a damn machete. It's
Right.
the same thing,
Right.
Well, people want to be ready for the zombie apocalypse.
and that is a real thing, guys.
And in Game of Thrones, there's
There's real
The
bad
undead, it's zombies.
It's real. Oh, again.
You know, so
zombies.
it addresses that.
And they're
that piece of it.
coming back out, I guess, with a new Men in Black. You know, of which that's a real organization.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times, people, y'all think that this is entertainment. It is not.
It is not.
It is not entertainment. It is guiding you down that small path.
Right. Hello. Shout out to our own very own wellness warrior, Susan,
Hey,
for tuning
Susan.
in. Hello, Susan. We're
Where
good to hear
are
from
you? Knock, knock.
To Veronica, hello, and also to Festus, friend of the
Yeah,
show.
hey,
Yes.
He says howdy.
Howdy, Festus.
Also, they have this.
I still can't get over
Trump.
therapy.
Why have we not impeached this man first? He says he refuses to work with the Democratic Party until they stop investigating him.
He's just a bully.
Well, we seem to be giving in.
Yeah.
We seem to be acquiescing to everything that he requires.
The people we allowed to get elected are giving in to him. And
Well,
I say
then
allowed to be
all of
elected
his
because
constituents-
how many of you people out there actually voted, actually paid attention, and exercised your right? You didn't, but yet you're out here complaining and criticizing and, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but you didn't even do the simplest of things, which was go vote.
I don't know if that
You know?
mattered. Okay, again, Hillary had the popular vote, several million votes, right?
Right.
But he won with 535 electoral votes. That was the difference. That was a put in. That, you know, I tell people all the time, and you've heard me say this before, presidents are not elected. They are selected. So
Selected
he
and
was,
bought.
that's exactly right. So he was selected to be that. And, you know, it kind of makes you question, and I hate to throw this question back to, you know, our ancestors, all that they went through for us to vote, but I don't know that it's not fake. Not already predestined, predetermined.
Well,
put
I
in
think it's
place.
because so many people have just been so complacent with it. They're like, they're not going to pay attention. They're still going to spend, you know, still spend money and make us money, you know, continue to make us rich, you know, regardless of who we, you know, who gets picked or whatever. So I was speaking with a classmate last week, and he called it the, what do you call it? The loud minority or something to that effect. And that's true. The minority picked Trump and allowed him to get voted,
Yeah.
voted in. But that's because they made enough noise.
And just know that should he win again or should he lose, it's going to be drama either way.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
He's going to
It's
swear
gonna
to
be-
God
I
that
s-
we've done something.
Yeah,
the vote was
it's
this,
it's gonna
we've
be-
stolen ballots. It's going to be a big brouhaha.
Yeah.
Whether he wins, hopefully he doesn't win, but like I said, either winning or losing doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's
he's
gonna
still
be either way.
gonna make a big deal about
It's
it and
gonna be a
make it
problem.
more than what it is. I mean
Right.
but again, that's just smoke and mirrors. All this stuff that's going on, because prior to the big uproar about the anti-abortion thing, what I kept hearing on the news that was in the Senate was the Chick-fil-A bill.
What is the Chick-fil-A?
It's here in Texas. I love my state.
I
Like
don't
Jesus
even read.
people.
What is
So in
Chick-fil-A?
San Antonio, what had happened was Chick-fil-A tried to basically open business in the San Antonio airport.
Okay.
Someone stopped it because Chick-fil-A is backed by religious organizations.
Yeah.
Right.
Chick-fil-A has made
And
it
they're closed
known
on
that
Sunday
they are
as a result of that.
right, absolutely. So, you know, the they're not supporters of the LGBT community. That being said, I don't know of any situation where Chick-fil-A has discriminated against the LGBT community. They
They're
just
just
let
not
it know
supporting
LGBT
it.
that
just
they're
whine.
they're
They whine.
Christian, right? They're a Christian-based company. They hold those values. They're going to continue to hold those values, and like you said, that's why
That's
they're
their
closed
right.
on
And they're not
Sunday.
open
That's
on
their
Sunday,
right.
right.
so
That's
there
their
was a bill or trying to pass in order to prohibit businesses from basically being targeted just because of what organizations support them.
Wow.
You know, so that was the big thing that kept going on, and then out of nowhere you hear Alabama and this anti-abortion law, and so for me, I'm like, oh, that's why they kept making a big deal about it, so that way they could sneak
so
that
you don't pay
in.
attention to what else
Right.
is being thrown in.
Right, let's make this the big news, that
Wow.
type of thing.
You
So
ready to take us out?
Yes, the author's addict. Once again, look at this lovely, lovely cover before you image. I make a great employee, executive, entrepreneur, professional etiquette training, written by the manners maven, Marian Gath herself. And I just want to bring up a couple of tips from the Manners Maven. She has so much to say. And speaking of audiobooks, I have a special request from someone who lives in New England whose eyesight is going and they're not able to read it, and they said to please ask the Manners Maven if she would make an audible version because I can no longer read it.
I would love to have you do that.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I'm
get
so
over
excited.
yourself.
Anyway, all right. Well,
Get over
think,
yourself.
all right, just want to bring up some
Okay.
some wonderful acronyms that the Manners Maven has told us about. One of them is SIT, S-I-T, Self-Improvement Time. That is the time to self-improve. Our book talks about that. SEC, not SEC football. Smile, make eye contact, and show confidence. When you do that, you are absolutely confident. People want to invite you to their parties. People want to get to know you. People want to hear what you have to
You
say.
look
When
people
you're
straight
open to
in
it.
the face,
Look
and that's
straight people
important.
think, and it makes you seem real, like you're a truthful person. Also, another wonderful acronym, ARM, A-R-M, attitude, respect, and manners will get you far, will take you many, many places. So those are just a few tips in this wonderful opus. I'm excited about it, and I'll be back to share a little bit more with you little by little next week.
Okay.
And before we close out, everyone, tonight, for those who are not aware, they are showing the remake of All in the Family and The Jeffersons. Okay, it's a remake. You have Woody Ferrell, Marissa Tomei, and you have Jamie Foxx and Wanda Sykes as the main characters for both of those shows. This is headed by Jimmy Kimmel. So we're talking about things that, town and country, what's going on now. These are shows that were very popular in the 70s,
Yes.
60s,
Oh, yes.
70s.
Yes.
Okay,
And
very
they're still
controversial
funny.
shows.
Yes.
But we didn't have the social media platform. So pay attention. Watch tonight. See what's
Yeah,
going on
and
and
the
see
history.
the issues that they were addressing, and think about what kind of time it was in the 60s and 70s when these shows were out and popular.
Yeah, Norman
So-
Lear. Is it NBC or CBS?
It's ABC.
ABC.
Actually,
So
Jimmy
I'm
Kimmel.
excited. I'm actually excited about that.
They should have another showing other than 8 o'clock.
I have no idea. It's on ABC. It's mainstream
I'm
TV,
gonna have
so I
to go
doubt
on
it.
that.
So DVR, pause,
Right.
record, bootleg it, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But definitely pay attention to it so we can see how much we have progressed or regressed
Right.
all these years later.
And on that note, you have something?
Yes, I do. Today's show was brought to you by Image. I make a great employee, executive entrepreneur, professional etiquette training seminars where life skills meet social graces. For more information, contact www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizimage.com for more information.
And next week we will have Body by Dominican. So if you
I
have
want
any
the Body
question,
by
ladies,
Dominican.
y'all need to call in and speak with Bridget about her business. But until then,
I've got questions.
we will see you next week
All right. Have a good week.
on the radio.
Yes. Bring your best manners.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the Bridge of Light Radio and its staff.